the platforms. So we'll keep chatting for a few more minutes, but so now there's going to be
But
two.
we're back. We're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah, so there may be two live videos out there. So I'll go through my whole spiel again, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I was getting ready to do a halftime break anyways from the last stream. So if you guys are just joining right now, there's actually a whole nother 30-minute video where we answered a bunch of questions. But otherwise, we can definitely keep the party going, and we'll see if this works right now. So I think, do you have the YouTube page pulled up? Are we back live on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm seeing us on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, well, I see some questions coming in, so I'm just going to pick up like nothing happened. And
Okay.
sorry for the technical glitch. And let's see, any questions you're seeing? Sorry, yeah, Scott says it's working again. Sorry, guys, we had a little glitch, but I think you guys probably all figured out the new stream, and we're back live again. You can give this one a thumbs up. Make sure you give that thumbs up, Jade. I don't want you to forget to, so. No, to the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
YouTube
Okay.
video. Where'd we leave off, Jay?
Oh gosh, we were just talking about whether people who get the EIDL loan are then disqualified for unemployment.
Yeah.
And we said just go for it, get as much as you can, and if there is a problem, someone will track you down.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much the sort of advice to go by for now. And I think everyone is kind of back watching live again. So appreciate you guys sticking with us. Of course, the one day that I need to go live, my internet's a little dicey. Probably everyone at home, working, Zooming. Crinkle says, your stream got COVID. Now it must apply for PUA too. That's a good joke.
Nice.
JRP says, are they going to tag? Welcome back, JRP. I know we've answered a few of your questions in the past, so thanks for joining again. They say, are they going to tax us on PUA just like they do on UI? So I think I know the answer to this question. I think it's, what do you think, Jay? Are you shaking your head?
I don't know.
I think with
would,
all of these programs, well, unemployment generally, you always have to pay taxes on unemployment payments, I guess you would call them, right? So anytime you're receiving unemployment, you do have to pay taxes on that money. So I assume that PUA, since it's kind of an extension of unemployment, that you will have to pay taxes on that. But yeah, so that's sort of how I would handle that, or what I would guess there.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
And I see a question here from, let's see, Caesar. I think we answered Caesar's question already, right? Maybe he missed that. He got rejected. What should I do today from A to Z? Can you navigate me? You want to apply for PUA, which we'll have a video about that later. Prophetess says, and this is our first comment over from Twitter, says, is anyone in New Jersey getting money? I don't know specifically. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like, it's sort of, I don't know that one state is coming out ahead of another. It sort of seems just like randomly dispersed, like people are starting to get money. But there is, since this is approved at a state level, it does, some states are faster than others, right?
Yeah. Louisiana's on top of it. Man,
Yeah.
people get money in Louisiana. Yeah, again, just go to your state's unemployment website, and they'll tell you exactly what's going on.
Yeah. And I saw this question. I think you answered it earlier, but it is important. Ashot says, guys, after applying for PUA in California, do they send an email confirmation?
Yeah, so no. So I did not get one, and I looked at a Reddit thread, and people are saying they didn't get one either.
Yeah.
It just seems what we're going to do is wait, and best case scenario, in 4 days, you get your debit card in the mail, and then you have access to your funds. But I didn't get anything saying how much I was going to get, calculated, anything like that. It was just there was just a page at the end that said your form is submitted. Here's your application number, and that was that.
Yeah, and that's another good point that, since this is a unemployment, is a state by state issue, every state could be different, right? There could be some states that send a confirmation email at certain points. And I like what you mentioned, Jay, right? That you actually went on Reddit. So that's what I would recommend. If you run into a specific issue to your state, like we're going to be covering everything that drivers need to know, but we're probably not going to be covering like, does every state send a confirmation email after you apply for PUA? But I would definitely recommend you go to a Reddit, Facebook groups, Uber people, or even the comment section of some of our videos, especially if you're in a state with a lot of people, and ask those questions of other drivers, because that's sort of the best source for that type of information, I would say. So let's see. Vanessa asks, I asked this last time on the last stream that you guys screwed up. Do you think there will be a second stimulus check? Because unemployment is taking so long. It's my money and I want it now. And I don't want to call JG Wentworth. So I think that's I don't know if that JG Wentworth is everywhere, but I know they used to do those cheesy radio ads, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jay? You think there's going to be a second stimulus check? I guess she's referring to the $1,200 stimulus check that a lot of people have received.
I've watched some politicians saying they want to institute like a $2,000 a month stimulus payment until the economy gets right. $1,200 is not much. Here we are going into our third month of this, and I think the government has to realize that they need to put money into the economy because the economy is not doing well. Yeah. And I think given that our president plans to get reelected by his record on the economy, I think he's going to be reticent to let the economy go down in flames, which it's currently doing. $1,200 is not that much, so I would expect at a minimum we're going to get at least one more, and it could be that becomes more of a monthly thing. Of course, we'll have to wait and see, but it's.
Yeah, and I think that's again, it's sort of like, I think a lot of these things are beyond our control. So I do want to put a question out to everyone who's watching right now. If you're in a situation where you're waiting for stimulus, unemployment, PUA, like I think a lot of you guys, if you're watching our videos, you're doing the right things. But what are you doing in the meantime? If you've got a rent payment, we're at April 28th today. Rent is due for a lot of people May 1st. And if you're a landlord, maybe they've decided to give you an extension, maybe not. Some states are more lenient than others right now. Some cities are better than others. So what are you guys doing right now to make money if you need money? I actually saw comments, unfortunately they were on our last live stream that broke down, but I know some people said they were still doing Uber and Lyft, and we're actually doing a lot of interviews right now with drivers across the country that are still driving for Uber and Lyft to sort of see what their experience is like, because there are still some rides out there. So I'm curious to know what folks out there are doing. So if you guys are watching live, go ahead and chime in on that, and let me know what you guys are doing. Jay, what are you doing to make money?
Well, one thing I want to say before I'll answer that question is I saw this really interesting graph. I was doing a little research for my podcast, and it showed number of rides. And before this thing started, it was like, I don't know, like 1,500. And I think that was in millions, and then it went from 1,500 all the way down to 60, like to 5% of where it was. That's how much of a drop. Yeah. And the big news, the real reason for this article was that it was going from 6 to like 9. So it was like, it was on the upswing, but still less than 10% of what it was way back then. So what am I doing right now? I'm building a coaching business, which I'm launching in a couple weeks, and I'm writing ads and making articles for you, Harry, and working as your advertising manager. And that's what I'm doing. Those are my plans. B, C, D, and E.
Yeah. I also like just to take a quick second for, I know we were talking earlier, I think one of the commenters, I don't know if I put it on the screen, but someone said we both look stressed. And that might be because I have a newborn in the house. Jay, I don't know how stressed you look, but I like that you've been taking these morning walks every morning. This is completely unrelated to rideshare stimulus or anything, but you've been doing like hour walks, and maybe you can quickly, we'll take a quick pause. You can let people know what you've been doing there.
Yeah. So, we don't have to go to work. We don't have to go drive. We got a lot of more free time. And, Yeah, in the mornings I go for this 5 mile walk, and it's really beautiful. I try to go before the sun rises, and then I can see the sunrise. And there are turkeys all over the neighborhood. These big turkeys, with the big wing,
Nice.
the big
Yeah.
fan thing behind them. And flowers are in bloom now. And there's this jackrabbit I see every once in a while. And it's just nice to get out. I like to listen to Howard Stern interviews when I'm walking, and it's one of my favorite parts of the day. That, and then heading out to buy some food or some coffee once a day in my car. I like driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find getting out in nature is something we can still do and feel kind of normal.
Gotcha. Yeah, and let's see, I saw Caesar, I'll just answer this question quickly. The next PUA video that Jay did should be available. I think we're going to publish it either later tonight or really early tomorrow morning on the YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. Dan says, Jay, you look like a pilot with those headphones, so checking in with Captain Jay.
Yes, Dan, I'm going to buy one of Harry's really cool microphones there, and then I won't have to wear this next time. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And I just want to highlight this question. Spacey Nooner, or comment, he says, I can help with Illinois questions. Been paid out here since 3/29, so he's in the YouTube live chat right now. So appreciate that, Spacey Nooner. If you guys do have any Illinois-specific questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat, and it sounds like he will respond. DJ Vibes asks, can you guys help with my question? I don't know if I saw your question. Let's see, maybe you can ask it again. Dave, the Uber slave, thanks for joining, Dave. I know he's been covering a lot of the PUA issues on his YouTube channel. He said he had kept having to hit reload while filing for PUA online. So that's another good technological trick. Just keep hitting reload, right? Or smash your computer against the wall until it works. Let's see.
Spacey Nooner, put a note. Are you watching The Last Dance? That's the 10-part ESPN series on Michael Jordan and the Bulls. It's really good. They've shown 4 episodes. I got to think Chicago is loving it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vanessa. Okay, let's see. So I think I missed that question, but I highlighted a few of the things that people are doing right now. Tanya says, I'm driving in Tennessee. It's extremely slow. Immortal says, in DC, Lyft says there are needs for drivers for essential rides. So Lyft and Uber are both, sort of amping up delivery, food delivery, grocery delivery. And then, of course, there's also the, delivering food with Postmates and DoorDash. And, I know we've been, hearing from a lot of drivers on Instacart that they're making money. Although I will say, in the past 1 or 2 weeks, I've been getting more feedback from Instacart drivers that are saying they're having some issues, that it's getting a little tougher. I think there's some people, trying to spam the system and basically reserve blocks, automatically. So, kind of like with a lot of these things, again, Jay, I think it pays to be first, to sort of sign up for these services quickly ahead of time, be one of the first people doing it and kind of get in before everyone realizes like, oh crap, you can make $2,000 a week on Instacart. Like, I don't know if that's doable anymore, but it was a month ago.
Right. Yeah. It pays to just kind of be flexible, because you get into something and it's good for a while, and then then things change, and we've seen that big changes right now. But if you're flexible, you can kind of see where the opportunities are, and you can kind of move and get to where you can take care of yourself.
Yeah. So I like this question here from Anjum, and it's sort of, they're asking, I have a full-time job. I stopped driving Uber Eats February 2019. Can I apply for EIDL or anything at all? And I think that we've gotten a number of questions that are similar to this, but basically the gist of it is, can I get unemployment, or, some of these, I guess this question specifically is a little different, but we will answer that. Maybe we'll answer this specific one, and then also we can talk about, Jay, if you can get unemployment if you have another job, or what if you want to go back and work? You're waiting for your unemployment right now and you're not getting shit, and so you need money, and you go out and work. Do you want to take a crack at Anjum's and then dive into this topic, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the EIDL and the PUA and unemployment is, if you were doing driving when this happened, not last year and you quit last year, but it's really for people that were impacted by the COVID-19, and that's what it's designed for. Because I would assume if you stopped driving last year, you have some other work that you're doing.
I thought it was February
instead.
2020 for some reason. That's actually February 2019. That's over a year ago. Yeah, so I think that's going
Right.
to be tough to actually get unemployment for
Yeah,
that for sure.
but to the question of you can't wait, and you're working now, and you're also filing for unemployment. Um, yeah, I mentioned this in the video. It's kind of like double dipping, where
Right.
you can get the unemployment benefits, and since you're working as an independent contractor with another company, um, they're not reporting to the unemployment offices. A little sneaky, I guess, to do both, and I guess you could get caught. So there's some risk to it. I don't think you'd get caught right away. It's not something I would recommend,
Yeah.
but it's really up to you. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and everyone's got their families and
Yeah.
to take care of, and we do what we can. And
Yeah.
you know,
And I think this question from Clark is sort of exactly what we were trying to answer. What if I still have my regular, almost full-time position, but I've not been driving, just delivery, but my income did drop? I'm sure there are others in my boat. And so generally, I think that, the point, I think the point of unemployment is that if you lose your job or you lose your income, for example, that they now want to provide you with something, right? So if you completely
right,
lose your job, then you now can go and file for unemployment and get paid that way. If you start working though and you start making more money, then your unemployment benefit starts to go away because they don't want to pay you unemployment if you're working, right? It's sort of there.
exactly. And if you have a W-2 job now, you're not going to get unemployment because they're going to verify with your social security number that you're
Right.
working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not going to work.
Yeah, and I would almost even say that that might even be, kind of like, I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's legal or not, but it's definitely against the spirit of unemployment. I think the trickier
Right.
situation is, like the legitimate situation of right now, if you're someone who you need unemployment, and you've been applying, but you're not getting any info back, you're not getting approved, but you need money right now to pay that rent on the first of the month. What do? Maybe in that case, you go out and you're working on Instacart or you're working DoorDash or Postmates and making some money. I think it like you said, I don't know how the unemployment office are going to know that you're working these other jobs, and I don't know that that should actually count against you either, right? Because it's sort of because they're so slow and taking so long. That's the reason why you have to go and work these
Right.
other jobs, right?
Yeah. You really, if you get caught, I mean, if you accidentally or intentionally break a rule,
Yeah.
I think everyone understands this is very unusual times, and everyone's got to do what they got to do because,
Right.
we're looking at the greatest depression of our lifetime coming up here. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Randolph, he's asking, but isn't that, I'm not sure exactly what part he was referring to, is he was asking if it was illegal. I believe that as individuals can't be liable for fraud. So I think that's the thing, right? Like use common sense, right? Like if you're clearly, have a W-2 job and you're making money, you're just trying to get unemployment because you're trying to scam the system. Yeah, that's illegal, right? But if you're in that situation that I just described and, there's not good information or good guidance, I don't see that, as an issue. But of course, we'll see what happens.
It's a tough situation.
Yeah,
It is.
it's a tough
'Cause-
situation.
because it's taken so freaking long. The government
Yeah.
has taken, we're into the third month of this, and here we are in, this technology mecca of California, and we're still, at least a week away from actually getting unemployment money.
Yeah. Randolph says, I'm in Southern California and to go driving is dangerous. The virus is still very active. And so I think that we've heard that from a lot of drivers. And frankly, I do think food delivery is, if you have to make money, I think food delivery is probably the safest option out there right now. I think Instacart and groceries is a little hit or miss, especially, some of these grocery stores are not doing socially distancing as well as other places. And I know that, they just have so much supply and demand. It's causing a lot of issues right now. JR says Instacart is crashing at least 2 times a day based on online crashing reports. So definitely some issues there. Eric does say, thank you, Harry and Jay, for your helpful videos. So thanks for that, Eric. Definitely, we're trying to do all we can to help out people. Peter says, watch out for a credit check from SBA. Noticed it a few days ago, then $1,000 dropped into my bank account late last night. You know what? That's a good point, Peter. I got a credit check yesterday from the SBA, and I was like, what the hell is this for? Since I applied so long ago. And then this morning, I had the $1,000, I'm assuming EIDL grant in my account. So that's good to know, Peter. That could be exactly what happened there. Let's see if we can answer maybe just a couple more questions, and then we'll end this live stream for now, but we'll definitely be back next week. And as mentioned, Jay has a really good video coming out later tonight or maybe tomorrow morning about filing for PUA in California, which you guys can go ahead and check out. So if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please go ahead and do so now. If you're finding the content helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel too and have notifications on, so that way you know when we go live and when the new videos come out. Let's see. Are there any other questions that we haven't really answered that I think are important? I think I see a couple questions in here. Anything you think we've missed, Jay?
Has anybody, if anybody's listening, has anyone gotten any PPP money? I've not heard of anyone getting any money from the PPP. I'd really be curious if anyone actually has gotten anything from that besides, the average loan was $250,000, and that was, small business, and that's not what we've been seeing. So I'm curious. I'm still in the running for $20,000, but as every day goes by, I think my chances are smaller and smaller because I'm just a little guy.
Yeah. Randolph says, do you think the PUA program will run out of funds just like PPP? I don't think the PUA program can run out of funds. I think it's sort of federally backed. So I think it's more just people need the money. So that's sort of why everyone is scrambling so hard to get in there.
Yeah.
Vanessa says, I think the EDD will accept everyone. And then I saw a comment that I liked from Tom here in Texas. He says, I was rejected 3 times, most recently on Saturday. This morning, I received the last 7 weeks of payment in my bank account with no notice. So stick with it. And that does seem to be a bit of a common thread, Jay, like with EIDL and some of these employments. Like you wake up one morning and you have a check, or you have a debit card, or you have a direct deposit.
Right.
And it's sort of like Christmas, right?
One hand doesn't seem to know what the other one's doing. Yeah.
So I think we'll see what happens there. But I think we've gone ahead and answered a lot of questions today. Appreciate each and every one of you joining. Jay, definitely big ups and thank you to yourself for keeping everyone up to date. I think Peter summed it up well. Jay has been a huge help on all this. Thank you guys. So appreciate that. And as always, if you guys do have any other questions or you're not watching one of these videos live, feel free to leave a comment down below and we'll do our best to get back to that, or oftentimes another viewer will check that out. And I'll make one last request. If you guys can go ahead and give that thumbs up button a like, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And I think I've got the newborn in the house, but I think I'll try to be back here again next week with another live session. And I know we'll be releasing a lot of videos because we're still very early on this whole path. And I know there are a lot of issues that, Jay and I are very passionate about helping you guys with, and we're doing our best to answer all of your questions and provide as much information and help as we can. So if no one has said it to you yet, thank you guys out there for what you're doing, whether you're driving, whether you're staying at home, socially distancing, whether you're delivering food or groceries. I think that Jay and I both appreciate it big time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if you have any success, hit us up in the comments or shoot us an email. We'd like to hear people and give us some specific dollar amounts. What are you getting? What did you get? What state are you in? That would be really great because that just inspires all of us. And I just want to say about the video that's coming out. I just, I went through the process with the PUA and I took a lot of screenshots. So usually I'm in my car talking to you. This time I go on my computer and I'm just going to share with you a lot of the screenshots and tell you how I answered some of the questions and kind of walk you through the process if you haven't applied yet. Or if you did apply and you want to see how I did it compared to how you did it, then it might be worth watching as well.
Yeah, and maybe, Caesar is pushing us right now. He really wants to see this video, so maybe we'll post it. I'll review it quickly and post it this evening. Caesar is single-handedly pushing me to get this video out ASAP, so you guys can all thank Caesar for that, because I think it'll be good helpful info there. So we'll sign off for now. Jay, thank you very much, and to everyone who's watching,
thanks everybody.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.